first international cigars video. This here is a cigar leaf, and this is the leaf that I'm going to be using for the wrapper. It still looks a little, I started cutting it before the video, so it's not gonna look very clean. However, it is very nice, it's kind of leathery, and it is what we use to make the wrapper of the cigar. Now, how do I make the cigar from beginning to end? We have to understand that these leaves grow in tobacco plants, in plants, right? And they are about 7 feet high. They are harvested about 2 or 3 times a year. When they're harvested, they are green, and they are picked and taken to the barn where they hung upside down for a period. They turn from green to brown in about a day. However, for them to get all the flavor all the way through, they have to sit there for at least 2-3 months, something like that. And then depending on flavor and how much flavor you want, then they can stay there for about 2-3 years, something like somewhere around there. And basically then they are taken into the factories where they are also kept in a humidor, providing them with some water so the flavors are absorbed directly into the leaf. So when you have a cigar, the technique to make the cigar is exactly the same, whether you are in Honduras or Dominican Republic or Nicaragua or wherever you are. What is going to make that cigar different is, well, A, the size that you're smoking, and B, the blend of leaves that you are using for that cigar. So I like to start my cigars with Dominican tobacco, which is very, very mild. Is grown in the region of Santiago in the Dominican Republic. What we do is we take the leaves that are in the bottom of the plant, which have the most flavor, but they are not as big or as flavorful as the leaves that are on top of the plant. So the leaves on the bottom of the plant, they will provide the strength. And if you see these little pieces here, they are basically, when you touch them, they are going to be a little rougher in texture than the ones for the wrapper. And I had some stuff repaired. So when we start making the cigar, we basically start bunching the tobacco. So once the leaves are picked, brought into the barn, and then brought to us, the first thing we do is we take those smaller leaves that are the binder, and we start basically making the cigar. How we start is by putting one leaf on top of another, and then on top of another. This is called the filler, and this is the bunched tobacco. Now, the next step is to add a binder leaf. The binder leaf is going to also add flavor and strength to the cigar. And in this case, when you bind the cigar, you're basically taking another leaf and you are going as such. Now, I'm making a big cigar here, but anyway, the next step is for them to sit in a mold. In this mold that I prepared, I have 10 cigars or so. This one here is for a Robusto size cigar, but they have to sit, I put the bunched tobacco in the mold, and then they have to sit on the mold for about 3 hours or so before I can actually take them and wrap them into something that you guys can smoke. So once they are, this is like a Martha Stewart style, okay? Because otherwise I would have to tell you, please come back in 3 hours and see me. Anyway, so now that I have the tobacco already bunched, now I'm going to apply the wrapper. So as you can feel, and maybe if you want to touch it, it's very rough. So some people joke around that when my wrapper kind of, starts breaking apart, what do I do with the cigar? And I am like, well, you can smoke it mowing the lawn, because who cares if it falls off. However, if you are in a social setting or with friends or something, you definitely want to make sure your wrapper doesn't start falling off. So now to apply the wrapper, okay, so the first step is to remove the stem. We don't want you guys to find a stem when you are smoking your cigar. That will actually plug the cigar if you have something like that. The water just basically allows me to work with the leaf, so it's not too dry. And in this dry weather of Minnesota, it just seems like we have to add it constantly.
Right.
When we are in the Caribbean, you don't have to do that because it's a walking humidor wherever you go. Okay. So right now I'm just basically stretching the leaf. Oh shoot. I stretch it too much. I guess we can take that out of it. Okay, these leaves are not gonna work with me today. This here is pectin. It's basically the same ingredient that is used for canning fruits and stuff like that. So we are now applying the wrapper and making that cigar something that used to be a little rougher. We are basically applying this leaf onto it. So it was a little dry, it got cut off in the wrong places, but I'm just going to show you the technique. Okay, so now we added not only a beautiful finish to the cigar, but we also added a lot of flavor from this particular tobacco leaf. And the pectin just basically allows us to put the wrapper onto the leaf, maybe. There is a piece of leaf here that is a little. Have to add a little more to the cap. Okay. So now the cap is really what we take out when we are smoking the cigar. So it doesn't serve any other purpose other than just making sure that that cigar looks pretty and that is held together until you start smoking it. And I guess I need my glasses today. There you go. Now we let it wait until it dries out.